Future Grimith here, with a preface for the final session of All Flesh Must Be Eaten. It was a long time coming, an ending frequently discussed, but one that had been delayed for understandable yet unwise reasons. Almost everyone was done with the game, except for you viewers, even though we kept playing. 8 weeks ago, we put the zombies in their graves. As you listen to this session, I want you to pay close attention to the voices. We don't have body language in online tabletopping, not without webcams, so you have to imagine the nonverbal communication. But I can tell you how I felt. And how I looked. Exhausted, ill, and apathetic. You'll hear those same attitudes across the board. Maybe not the ill part. I played my first tabletop RPG 20 years ago. I take pride in being good at what I do. That being said, this session... the past several sessions, cascading on top of each other, it was an unmitigated disaster. When group apathy and fatigue fester into everyone and come to life. We all should have known better to continue. We did anyway. For our own reasons. The consequences, well, they certainly weren't unexpected.
They do.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be turning into a zombie, so I have that going for me.
That's what people say that every time they then go and turn into a zombie.
So... I am a zombie?
Nice talk.
For me.
Oh, I thought that was a good talk.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in a special place in my mind this week, so I expect this session to be the amazing quality that Ryan said it was last week, when I was equally fucked up.
Quality?
Yes.
I feel I'm being misquoted.
Hey, you said it was super par.
I don't think I would ever use those two words together.
I struggled to think of, like, the correct prefix. I was like, what's, like, subpar, but the opposite of subpar?
Shit, I need your server information again, because I was helping Jordan test his All Flesh Must Be Eaten stuff.
Oh, Christ.
Not All Flesh Must Be Eaten. The other game with Star Wars.
Edge of the Empire. Can one of you two send it to him?
Yeah, I'll do it. I believe the words you were looking for were marginally satisfactory.
I don't think you said exactly that. I think you said something to the effect of, you couldn't tell that anything was wrong with me because the session seemed, I guess, about the same.
See, I don't know how that's confused with quality.
Jordan's not going to be joining us for, I don't know. He didn't
literally ever.
Yeah.
The foreseeable future.
It's like the best excuse for not starting Edge of the Empire this week. It really is his fault. Like, we could have just started Edge of the Empire today, but he's not with us, and as it turns out, you theoretically need the referee.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
It's all narrative, so I mean, I think we could handle it.
Yeah, we could probably handle narrative.
Plus, you know, the first one he says going to be, like, session 0 is just going to be figuring stuff out between the party.
We just figure stuff out between the four of us and what we want to do without him.
Like why we haven't shot each other yet.
That really doesn't seem like a high priority.
Yeah, honestly, who cares about that part?
I really hope that's not the mentality that we have to maintain for the entire thing.
No, I don't think it will be.
If so, I might just start shooting.
Aaron's just in character for this game right now.
I can tell you exactly why we haven't killed each other in this one.
Because you like food?
I don't think most of us care enough to open fire on the rest of the party.
I don't think most of us have bullets.
What are you talking? Fletch has already left. His little fucking horse trail is still on the map.
I know.
Serious question. Who has bullets?
Wherever Tony's gun is, I think still has a couple.
I don't remember exactly. I think he went through all of his ammo.
I don't recall whether he finished it off before being knocked unconscious or not.
Neither do I. I don't remember a whole lot of things today. The NPCs definitely have ammunition.
Yeah, there's a nice M249 with a box of ammo sitting around somewhere.
Yes. And, Grace has tons of crossbow bolts. Yes. And you don't have to worry about reloading your katana.
Because they
Literally
grow on
metric
trees.
Actually, I don't know. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started here, and if Jordan can join us at all, then we can handle him. The session picks up with the you individuals, whom I'm sure discussed at length exactly how you wanted to restrain Tony. Finishing up with restraining Tony.
I believe cement galoshes were mentioned at some point.
I think they were mentioned by Tony. Am I wrong?
I said that.
I believe it was one of my comments.
I don't actually remember much in the way of talking about how Tony was going to be restrained, which was why I just threw that in as a comment. Suffice to say, however, that he can be, I don't know whether it's going to be padlocked, chained, scarved, however you exactly want to handle him being restrained on a roof, which will have more than Zane on it to watch it.
I believe he shall be sufficiently restrained.
That's right. There is enough rope and whatever sort of materials that you wish to improvise or jury-rig to properly place him in a situation that he could not even remotely leverage himself out of.
Or at least couldn't reasonably leverage himself out of.
And if he somehow could, it would definitely create enough noise to alert even Zane.
Hope.
Well...
Because, apparently he's figured out how to mutely phase through solid barriers now.
I'm going to say that with the amount of straps that will be put on Tony, it would be literally impossible for Zane not to hear him.
All of the Christmas bells we can find are attached to him.
Well, Zane
would it be literally impossible?
Zane would have to be rendered deaf.
Well,
and since he has hearing power, it's impossible.
I hope Zane likes suddenly being deaf.
As it turns out, Grace is actually helping Tony escape behind the scenes. No one realizes it until this session.
That's their prerogative.
Good workhorse. I'm sure you're involved.
Horse is real important to everything.
No, it's not. Let me go ahead and erase that stupid horse trail. There we go. Well, that's where the session picks up off. You're on roughly the morning of August 25th. You have a truck trailer and then the bed of a truck outside that's full of all sorts of mechanical reagents, you could possibly call them. Tony has been subdued and placed to his consternation up on the roof without access to any of his baubles he's just acquired. And he's torn between fits of sleep and then just basically calling out to you of how, bored he is.
Sounds like
Fits of
Tony.
Sleep and fits of sleaze.
Yes. With that, the ball, as it has been, rests with the players and what they would like to do. Jax has mentioned that he is currently, regards to construction materials, he has burned through all of the concrete, and he still needs quite a bit more. So the construction site where you acquired all of the rebar and what have you some time ago, using the helicopter, That's one potential location that you could visit.
How planted is the horticulture area right now?
Planted is the horticulture area. Well,
Like, I know I put a little bit of work into it, but I'm not sure how much exactly got done with everything else that was happening.
with everything else that's happening, I would say not that much at all.
Okay.
Eugene being so distracted with everything else that's been transpiring around. And perhaps slowed a bit because, I don't know, he's afraid of an ambush on account of some, like, hover hand fucking coming out, or hover leg, since the arms have been destroyed.
A very reasonable fear.
Not that much at all, but on the bright side, it won't take too long to grow, say, the lettuce. Ultimately, if everything works right, it could take less than a month.
Right, it just needs to get planted, and every day we don't plant is...
And while there is partial automation, that doesn't really assist with the planting process.
Right. So, Potman's gonna get started on that and ask for assistance. Because there's no way he's going down there alone. He needs at least one other person.
There's nothing better to do, really. It's important that we get food going.
Well, no, I mean, there is. We also have to set up those concrete barriers.
Yeah.
And we need to actually go out and get food.
Yeah. Basically,
setting up the concrete barriers isn't possible today, as there isn't actually the materials required to do that. You three working together could conceivably set up as much lettuce as Popman could tend to on his own. He obviously couldn't handle, like, the entire factory full swing, 10,000 heads of lettuce per day.
No.
But you could at least, within the day, you three working together, take care of the planting.
Yeah, Potman's definitely going to be spending today planting, and he'll take any assistance and workers that he can get.
Sure, why not?
That's a good idea.
There are some painful moans and cries which come over the radio as Alfonso gets roughed up a bit by Lance over Alfonso's basically his lack of regard for Tony, and how Tony somehow escaped. Everything's fine beyond that, though. It just ends up coming over the radio, Lance beating him up a bit.
Fair enough. Someone's thumb got held down, I guess.
Yep, someone's thumb got held down. Alfonso, he suddenly sobers up pretty damn fast. And then they all go back to sleep. Let's see here.
Fair enough.
That could definitely take care of your activity for the day. Let's see what I have here for the notes. The NPCs. Alright, that's what I had for their roles. I didn't even have it out. That's how scatterbrained I am today. Jesus. Okay. That in mind, the day ends up passing rather eventfully for the three of you. Not in any sort of like grand activity like an ambush happening down there, but just the process of taking steps forward to begin seeding the special hydroponic farm with those wonderful LED lights in the horticulture section. Get that taken care of. Lance and Alfonso end up striking out completely in the night in regards to finding food. But the three of you, there's no need for a roll. I'll handle Eugene's agricultural rolls later on. Are able to plant enough lettuce and whatever else, if you run out of lettuce seeds sufficiently enough, to take care of the activity for the day, and you'll heal up 2 life points in the process.
Flowers work, right? Yeah.
Plant all flowers.
All flowers must be planted.
It's the best way to fight the zombies.
If Potman can figure out how, he is going to plant 1 or 2 pot seeds. See if he can get a plant growing, experiment a little, you know.
Sure, he's going to have to experiment anyway in order to grow
he's not going
marijuana down there.
He's not going to be planting a full harvest or anything. He's going to see if he can even grow it down here. Like, if not, that's going to be an outside crop.
That's right. That's that goes in this section of the base.
Like, seriously, just 1 or 2 plants.
Alright, that's fine. Well, let's see here. You've clearly studied up on the topic, and I won't admit to knowing anyone who grows marijuana in actuality, Aaron. How long does that take to show positive signs?
I don't even know. I just know that it's so robust it can grow on the sides of highways without any tending.
In that case, given this setting, Eugene would think there's no need for a biochemistry roll, that it could grow down here just fine.
Cool. Wait, so you're saying that secret underground grow labs can grow weed?
Yes.
It's obviously their original purpose.
But, you know, the government doesn't need to grow weed because they have an entire warehouses full of weed that they've taken from others.
Yeah, not to mention all of the CIA drug trafficking operations.
Yes. So they don't need to have it in special underground warehouses.
It just helps.
Yes. I don't like what this admits about my world. Feels as if I've been painting into a corner somehow.
Smoked out.
Yep. It's terrible. With that in mind, the night ends up passing as you folks rest, end up recovering your life points. As noted, Lance and Alfonso don't end up finding anything. Trusty Tony, for his part, does not escape. He actually ends up remaining on the roof throughout the night and does not get away to haul back more metal supplies and materials.
Good?
Yeah?
I don't know. Like, he did bring back some useful stuff.
And that's no one has gone through those materials. Obviously, Trusty Tony was going to be the one who has. Everyone else ends up being too busy to go to that task. Jax and Willie, without like enough concrete, just begin like improvising like other materials for the time being. Basically, just like we get enough metal, and then we begin working that to like drag like entire sheets and somehow like blockade like the doorways with that instead of the major hallway sections of the basement. You know, other means to create effective barricades. So yeah, all of the whatever that Tony brought back, and it is an entire trailer and a truck bed full of whatever. That's still there. That's gloriousness.
Alright.
Oh.
Is this cutting in and out for me, or is just no one talking?
No one's talking, Aaron.
Okay, cool.
Dead quiet.
Did I miss a question somewhere?
So this next day, then,
Yeah?
Potman's going to get up bright and early, go check to make sure that the lab hasn't imploded, do any tending that's needed, and if there's time left, he's down for going scavenging for food, concrete, whatever. He's happy to help.
Someone can definitely end up walking with you, or maybe even two someones down there. In that case, since Jax and Willie are both down there, they would end up being the ones who'd walk with you to make so that you can make sure that you're not killed on your way to the lab. And the lab, which is growing, that you just planted, Lab White, seems to be all right. The LED lights are in good working order. The water filtration and conservation system's in effect, especially with all the amazing repairs that the NPCs have done. Everything's working good.
Perfect. Then, aside from that, I mean, with this working and the food growing, Potman currently feels like he has a huge load off his shoulders. So he's actually eager to help and starting to feel even remotely optimistic.
You know, he's holding up his end of the bargain. The reason why the NPCs might have spared you ever so long ago.
You know,
Yes.
last week.
Yeah.
It totally hasn't been like a reoccurring theme or anything.
Yes.
To murder you.
Yes.
It's pretty much the only reason Jax allowed him to stay in the first place, let alone live this long.
Details.
Yes?
Yes. But you can certainly handle those activities just fine. You're checking to make sure that everything is running smoothly, or at least as smoothly as you think it is down there.
Cool. Then, yeah, I think the name of the day is scavenging for food and concrete.
Yep.
Sounds like it.
At least find a location that should have more concrete, unless there's more back at the that one construction.
You certainly couldn't haul all of the possible construction materials with you on the stealth helicopter, even with the rigged up basically like pallet that was strapped to the helicopter. There was no way that all of it could fit on that. You couldn't fit all of it in, I don't know, even like a trailer or two, like the one that Trusty Tony has filled up with metal outside.
Yeah, there's just an astounding amount of stuff still left over.
Presuming that no one has touched it or, taken it in the past week, because it has been over a week since you've been there. That much time has passed.
Oh, yes, sure, it could totally be ruined now.
Yes, but when you left it, there was still quite a bit there.
Should probably check up on that before we head over looking for food.
Sure.
Okay. If you don't have any particular ideas, like if you don't have a better idea, Ace can certainly fly you folks and then haul back, unless you have another means by which you would like to get all the stuff back here.
Where was it at again?
The construction site ends up being south of PDR Express, so it's on 15,
That's right.
And it's to the east of Brunswick,
Yeah.
or as Grace called it, Rat Ocean.
I'm sorry, it's a rat ocean.
Accurate.
No, judging by, being on the road there, the roads are being as clogged as they are, you might be looking at 40 minutes to drive there just due to the poor condition of the roads.
I'm fine with taking the helicopter, unless we're that concerned about helicopter fuel.
Not yet.
No, not yet. There certainly is some freedom and flexibility with the stealth helicopter, which, no one was even expecting to acquire, so it's like house money. Never mind that it might crash. Everything will be fine.
If it crashes, we won't have to live very long to find out.
That's one way of looking at it. I approve of your optimism in this scenario.
Because people don't really walk away from helicopter crashes.
Yes, it's optimism. Let's see. Be coming along here.
And all flesh must be eaten, that counts as optimism.
Yes. I'll drag you along. I said you along, not the bed. I'm gonna turn this damn bed into an object if this keeps up. Bed sassing me, trying to get dragged along. And you can come along, Riggs. Alright.
To help.
Templar helicopter takes off and heads for construction. Ace makes sure to swing over Brunswick just to get a better idea of the situation. And sure enough, on various roads, there are the roving bands of rats, which are basically pouring over the streets, and also just fanning out of the settlement, heading across the bridge, heading into the river, heading north, heading in all directions.
God, fucking
that can't be
rats.
good.
Which, Riggs ends up mentioning that it's fortunate Zane's not here right now to see that.
Oh, he's gonna find out. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the scariest thing that my man's ever seen.
Hey, Jax will note the at least one of the things that he learned from, or that Dr. Knight had suggested, is that these creatures, that all of these reanimated zombie walking deads or whatevers do need to eat on a consistent basis, or else they don't exactly fall apart and just like don't move ever, but they become like sluggish and incredibly slow. And so if there's that many rats, then maybe they can, I don't know, maybe the same thing will happen to them.
Yeah, that's a little bit too optimistic for my taste, Jack.
What, is that unreasonable?
The idea that we'd last longer than them? Yeah.
It's not like they know how to climb, right?
If we have any holes, like, the size of a dime or a quarter, they can push through those.
They'd still have to climb the stairs.
I'm pretty sure I see some of them climbing over cars down there.
Well, if you look, if enough monkeys working on a typewriter together can come up with something.
Yes, and an ocean of rats can overrun a military base.
Jack's right. Look, it's not an ocean. I'd call that a tributary.
A tributary of
At
rats.
the very least, a sea.
Oh, a tributary of rats leading right into our Dyson sphere of flavor.
I'm not sure I'm following you here.
Wow.
How do you Dyson sphere a what?
It's not important.
Okay.
Jax goes back to looking out of the helicopter. After that wonderful incident, you shortly arrive at, POR Construction Ltd., the wonderful name, on account of it being near Point of Rocks. The site looks to be in the condition of which you left it a week ago. Little has been moved. There are several walking zombies around, but there's no need for combat. They can easily be kited into a situation where they're stumbling to try to get to you, like, say, over a wheelbarrow or outside, like, a window, and they can easily be dispatched without incident. And, disconcerting and uncomfortable, but not so alarming that it injures you further.
Could be a lot worse.
Thanks for that.
Hey, if you want it to be worse, we are playing All Flesh Must Be Eaten, and one of the tenets of this system is survival horror. Let me just open up folder here. Survival horror folder. I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Please tell me you also have an Eldritch Abomination folder.
That's like a subsection of survival horror?
Oh, the shame.
Shame?
Are you suggesting that people survive in Cthulhu?
Exactly.
Well, it's the name. I didn't name the genre.
It's cosmic horror for Cthulhu.
Cosmic? Like the B-52s?
It's a thing.
It's no more a thing than survival horror is a thing.
Precisely.
Now that we're done sorting our imaginary things, you folks along with the NPCs can certainly spend several hours, no need for a roll, but manage to acquire the sufficient building materials, for they are still plentiful here. No one else has taken them, and rig up another sort of carry system connected to the helicopter to take it back to Fort Drake.
Simple. We just mummify the pallet, and that'll be able to carry it.
Yes. How did you know?
All the straps possible.
That's incredible. your abilities of securing the concrete and rebar and other wonderful supplemental building materials are beyond par.
Yep.
Beyond in which direction?
Yes. That direction.
Good talk.
I thought so. You've managed to sufficiently wrap them up and then get back on the helicopter, and the helicopter will deliver those straight to Fort Drake, unless you had another idea of where you immediately wanted to go while the helicopter is carrying this.
Oh, Brunswick is made of rats, and Frederick is still the hellhole that it is, but we do have to get food at some point.
Well, food is a concern for survival, as has been noted basically by Aaron for the past...
Forever.
For the past forever. I think that's an accurate statement. And certainly through Eugene every single day. Food, 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 food. No, Lance and Alfonso are certainly doing their part, particularly just Lance at night. However, and it certainly is noticed as Ace flies over 340, heading back towards Fort Drake, there is a continuing, like, swarm of zombies that are pouring out of Frederick, numbering in the thousands, heading down that road towards Brunswick.
Good feeling.
And as Ace had noted, or at least that's how it seemed to be the case last week and then the week before, zombies were continuing to fan into that site, basically heading in from the east, like say if they were coming in from another major city like Baltimore, and they were continuing to move out as well. So there's the thought in mind that you might see more than just a few zombies at the fort in the future. Presumably Zane, though, being the immaculate watchman that he is, will be able to identify them.
Huh.
We're already dead, aren't we? We just didn't notice yet.
Surprise, it's been that way since session 6.
It's typically the way that undead-related things resolve themselves, yeah.
Yeah. I just broke the illusion.
There was no illusion.
Shit. Right, but no one said it out loud until right then, which means...
Which means I broke it.
Yep.
Shared dream.
Well, it's been
All right,
fun,
so-
everyone.
We all just woke up from my dream.
I hope that's story resolution. I hope that's good enough for you.
Okay, speaking of food, I'm going to go grab a plate real quick and be right back.
Okay. You should be able to reconnect now.
Cool.
Your water. What do you have to eat today, Aaron?
Italian.
Okay.
Sausage.
Okay.
Buongiorno.
So, your family cuts up Italians and puts them in the freezer and grinds them into sausage? Is that what I'm getting from this?
You don't?
See, you got it in one.
No, I'm not one for grinding up people.
Just their souls.
Yeah, it doesn't sound honest.
What do you mean honest? Honesty has nothing to do with it.
Hey,
The
come
lack
on,
of
it's
flavor,
okay.
that's
We've
the
all
entire
done it
problem.
before.
Just a couple times, then it gets real easy.
That's why they call this food guilty pleasures.
Oh. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Good thing, because they're not selling it.
Gotta make it from scratch.
Yes? Begins when two people love each other very much.
And one of them wants to be cut up and eaten. And the other one...
is Armin Mavis.
Could you repeat that, Aaron?
The other one is Armin Mavis, an infamous German cannibal whose victim volunteered.
Okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. Well, speaking of cannibalism, welcome back to All Flesh Must Be Eaten, everyone. You're currently in a helicopter. It's carrying its cargo back towards Fort Drake. Because that's where cargo goes to heaven, I guess.
Go to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Tony's scrap heap. We all know what Fort Drake is to cargo.
There's an analogy here somewhere.
I don't know. Not seeing it.
Okay.
It's the end of the trade path.
Ah, yes.
The end of the Silk Road.
Marco Polo didn't tell me about this.
Yeah, right here we got the Junk Road. Junk moves from all over the continent.
It is a tributary into the Silk Road.
Ends up right here.
Covered in rats.
Covered in rats with food buried underground.
Could I get my junk covered in rats, please? Oh,
That has an extra cost.
Yep, it's the Junk Road.
I can't take it back. I'm trying to get...
Tried to pull the words back in.
It's going to be a blank deleted spot in the recording. The world will never hear it.
I will actually edit that. I can maybe.
Yeah, you just leave in the reactions.
Go.
Well, the only potential food place that we think might have something decent would be the high school still.
Sorry. I do recall that being mentioned, particularly by Ryan, as one of the better choices that would have a bit of food.
And
The I Know train. One of the primary concerns, of course, and that would be easy to discern by anyone, is the amount of zombies which are visible around the Brunswick area.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea of why we wanted to hit it up sooner than later, and then it kind of got later.
yeah.
It just kept getting later.
So you folks have certainly healed up quite a bit if you want to risk such a run.
The alternative is literally just going out randomly looking around for places that might have food.
Yeah, I mean, if we did
Which would either be going into Frederick anyways, up to the unburned parts of Hagerstown. I believe that's what Hagerstown's problem was.
Yes, Hagerstown, as Trusty Tony drove around it ever so long ago, was the raging fire that had enveloped the city.
The other way is to go across the river into the unknown.
The unknown.
Honestly, at least we have an idea of what's around the high school.
Yeah, well, with our current ammo and weapon situation and all that, I think that if we do go into a zombie-infested area, the goal should much more be get in and out as quick as possible.
Sure.
Rather than, trying to defend whatever we find from zombies.
You don't even have Tony with you, so it's not like you have to worry about that recklessness of, I'll take her.
Well, part of it is how much are we looking to take and how are we looking to get it out?
I mean, any amount will be helpful, really.
Right, but like filling our pockets with candy bars isn't going to sustain the fort.
Right,
Well, it only needs to be sustained until we've got a food supply of our own. Every little bit kind of helps string it out a little bit more.
So every day we're going to be going out filling our pockets for that day.
Amen. Paydays are
As long as it takes.
That greatly increases the risk of getting caught by something.
Right, I mean, the goal would definitely be to find somewhere that has, bulk quantities of
the way
highly preservative-rich food.
The way it is, Fort Drake has little more than a week left of food.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to take, at least for this first sort of crop as Eugene tests things out. I suppose we'll go ahead and resolve the situation now, because it's going to be a continuing thread for Eugene. Why don't you go ahead, and this will just be a 1d10 plus intelligence, plus your agriculture, and your green thumb allows you to roll twice.
Yep.
Let's see how well this is going to turn out and how long this might take you.
Badly.
Okay. Eugene's thinking that it's going to take probably towards 4 weeks before you see anything. A little less than a month.
It's a good thing he's got a green thumb, or else...
Yeah, good thing he has a green thumb, or else that would have turned out wonderfully.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
I wholly approve. Fast forward.
And, of course, if it gets dire enough, we will kill a cow.
Sure, that's
a threat.
doable.
The cows are hostages.
Who are you holding the cows hostage against? Me?
The zombies, of course.
Yes.
The zombies? Don't come any closer, we'll eat the cow.
Hey, that could be one of them eventually.
Coulda, shoulda, isn't.
I mean, there's plenty of zombie cows out there, so I don't think that's any concern.
Anyway,
So do we want to go for the high school or look for something else?
high priority would definitely be anywhere where we think we might be able to find, like, bulk canned goods or something.
I think the north of Hagerstown was the part that burned. There might still be stuff left in the south.
For fuck's sakes.
Is there anywhere where there might be a grain silo?
There's the one Tony ran into.
Yeah, no, that's...
That was all the way back up
sticks away.
Yes, it was also full of soybeans. This is a fairly rural area. Like, the Lowe's that you folks went to back in Brunswick had, like, pre-built stuff, and you can find, like, say, like a Tractor Supply Co., like, around the area that would have, like, pre-built, like, sheds and what have you. So, yeah, there are some silos around in the area between, say, 70, when you turn off to head towards Boonesboro, and then, when you get to, like, the Middletown area. Fort Drake itself is in a relatively rural area, which exists entirely for fictitious purposes, because Fort Drake doesn't exist in real life. This has, like, I think in real life the actual map just has, like, a national forest bit, or, like, part of a state park.
We cut that bitch down.
Yes. Cut that bitch down for the military.
That's normal.
I mean, checking silos sounds like a great idea. This all started in, what, late summer, early autumn? There might actually be a lot of food.
Yeah, I think the first session was, like, June 1st, like, around, like, Memorial Day weekend after that, so... We're currently at the tail end of August.
So yeah, there could plausibly be stuff to eat.
Okay. How do you folks want to go about checking the area for silos? You just want Ace to fly around over the helicopter? Just like to...
If nothing else, a flyover could tell us where to drive.
Sure.
And it wouldn't take very long.
Okay.
You know, if we're concerned about dropping in the helicopter in all these places and burning a ton of fuel.
Alright. Okay. With my secret arbitrary roll done there, Ace goes ahead and, like, settles the supplies down at Fort Drake, so Jax and Willie can get to work along with Kat. And then takes you PC folks, excuse me, along with Riggs.
Nope, us on PCs.
along with Riggs, out for a spin, because Riggs feels like coming along too. And, let's see here. There appears to be, at least within the vicinity of Fort Drake, staying away from Brunswick the best you can, basically going all the way up close to 70. And then you can use just a helicopter to point that out. And then around here towards the river, and then circling around nothing by Brunswick, and then over here by Middletown, there appears to be a total of 12 silos out there that, at least on the exterior, at least from, like, you know, trying to look at it while flying past in a helicopter, don't appear to be broken. Most of those, probably majority, 8 of them, are in this northern area between Boonesboro and I-70, basically between St. James and Boonesboro. There's 2 others scattered here, and then like another 2 around in this area by Myersville. But the prime majority, 8 of them, are in this area here between St. James and Boonesboro. Appears to be like one asshole in particular, just like a small enclave of assholes who had silos. And then the copter flies back to Fort Drake.
All right, I'm thinking we take some sort of ground craft out to the area with 8 silos. And
I suppose that would require we empty the... Well, the truck's even more fucked up now, so...
Yep, the truck is damaged, and it's, the bed of it's full of goodies. You could drive the rig, of course, but it only has roughly 9 miles of fuel left.
What about new car?
The new car, same as
Was it ever ripped apart?
No, it wasn't ripped apart.
I guess that's our,
Trusty Tony talked about it, but didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you guys want to, you know, take bikes out there or something.
I don't even think
That's
we have
a bad
bikes
thing.
anymore.
I'm suggesting that it's a bad idea.
We could all just, you know, all 3 of us ride the broken down horse.
The sunset.
I'd rather not bring a vehicle that can get bitten.
The horse would have a hard enough time putting any 2 of you on its back and then moving at a normal speed at its current condition, let alone, you group.
Yep. So I think car is...
Wait, where'd Eugene's
Yeah.
token go? There he is. He's
I
on
think
the
it's
roof.
on the roof.
So I think we're taking car.
Okay. You can take car. Let's see here. Riggs will go with you.
He's made a poor choice.
This
Well,
gun still has bullets, so sure.
yeah. Riggs doesn't really give like much of a good reason, just that he wants to see these areas for himself, and you get the suspicion, particularly Fletch, that he wants to get away from Pink.
So what you're telling me is there's opportunity.
Probably the other way around.
Well, you know the attractiveness ratings, Ryan.
When they're all 0, everybody's at a level playing field.
Yes, that is the best way to look at the situation.
Man, no one from the negatives. We're doing okay.
Nope. The NPCs, these ones aren't special enough to have attractiveness ratings, or really much at all in the way of qualities. Other than, you know, contacts and resources and status, you know, things they don't need right now. They didn't optimize their characters.
Neither did I.
Did any of us really? Well, wait.
Yes.
Alright,
No?
At least one of us did.
Fletch is going to be the one driving, I take?
Sure.
Alright, driving won't be too difficult, but it will be a challenge, at least in these situations. It will be just a 1d10 plus your dexterity plus your driving skill.
No modifiers?
Nope, no modifiers.
Whee.
Alright, that amount of successes. Fletch is able to streak out of Fort Drake, past Artesia, and even the mess around Boonesboro. And it is a bit of a mess there on account of the fact that, well, there's some walkers, which you do manage to adeptly avoid. There's also just a whole, like, it's as if when Trusty Tony must have come here to smash through the barricades of the compound, he, like, scattered, like, metal and debris, like, over the roads as well, and his carelessness, or whatever the hell motivated him.
Probably the lack of anything holding it down in the bed of the truck as he drove away at 75 miles an hour.
Accurate.
Yes, that is probably it that motivates it. There just wasn't anything to restrain it, and so it just gets all scattered over the roads. That being said, Fletch manages to handle things quite well, and take you past Boonesboro, heading towards Silo Country, as it has been labeled.
Who doesn't want to go to Salzburg?
For the purposes of this, as I had not even considered the possibility of silos, didn't come to mind. Not the first time something didn't come to mind here. What I'm going to have you folks do, since I am also not exactly sure what crops they might grow around here, what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and, for everyone involved, give me, I think it will just go ahead and make this perception plus scavenging rolls. And while you're at it, give me dexterity plus stealth rolls.
Okay.
The scavenging rolls won't be at any bonus or penalty. The dexterity plus stealth rolls also won't be.
All right, let's see here.
All right, 10.
All right, this is going to be scavenging and stealth, respectively.
Okay.
There's no stealth.
Okay. All right. All three of you are incredibly quiet and careful to ensure that you don't alert the attention of anything. And with those stealth rolls in mind and it being open out here, yes, currently they have enough on their hands right now. Silo Country. BC stack backstab from Montezuma. Go!
No.
Suddenly jaguars appear on the outskirts. Son of a bitch.
Every time!
Fucking Montezuma and the BCs!
It's cool, you got a 95% chance to win.
Means nothing! Means a 95% chance of rage quit.
Yeah, like you said, you win.
I suppose so.
Somebody wins.
Just show that video game who's in charge.
That's right. I don't answer to you, you fucking fake piece of shit.
I'm a man, damn it.
That's right, you can't control my feelings despite the fact that you've manipulated me right now.
I chose to be outraged.
Anyway, you're easily able to spot anything, whether it's a few beer.
A few beer? Why, thank you.
So now we're all drunk and driving around on warm beer
It's
from the
practically
road.
a Meganigan tradition.
Son of a bitch. There I am thinking, alright, I'm gonna note that they spotted like a few bears and some deer, and they managed to avoid them, and instead I have
My
blended
god,
the
they're
two.
interbreeding. The zombie.
Fuck, that's one of the worst ones I've done in any of these All Flesh Must Be Eaten sessions.
It's okay.
It's really good.
I can barely speak English, don't worry.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. For sure, you found some beer as well.
Yeah. That's liquid bread.
That's right, and we'll even give it a brand, as I did for like the 3D Doritos and stuff. It's Budweiser. I guess with all the Clydesdales they must have had around here in Silo Country. At any rate, you managed to spot whatever hostilities might come your way long before. Fucking shit.
Shh, we're in beer country.
You should have to rename Silo Country to Beer Country. I don't know. That's the ruler.
Love it. Oh, and now we're totally going to get zombie bears with antlers.
He's got like his own like facial animations to express pleasure or anger towards you, depending on how you react.
We're gonna get some next level zombears that have had their bone plates extend into antlers.
Shit.
And you thought they were dangerous before. Something forest fires.
Alright. As for what you folks end up finding, you end up finding not only 17 rations, but one of the silos in particular is actually, and this is a relatively small silo comparison, like one of those silos that'd be like in a village, which by all means is still quite massive, but like a village type of like thing where they process things. However, the silo, which is full of, I don't know, Aaron, give me a crop that would be grown in the northeast at summertime, at least be harvested at summertime.
Wheat? I don't know.
Yes. We'll go with that. You have found a wheat silo, grain, that is maybe 75-80% full. That's not counted in normal rations because you can't fucking haul that back in your car. It's wheat.
Tony tried with soybeans.
Okay, so now we just need to figure out how to make that into home food.
Yes.
How home food?
Time to start unloading the fucking truck.
Yes, but you have the car with you right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much we can do. You get a bunch of drums and fill them up. That's some rations.
Does Eugene have plans for the wheat? Eugene do a lot of things with wheat?
I don't know if it's germinating, but if it's germinating, he could plant it, but unless we have a means of actually properly grinding it, we're basically just going to make the equivalent of oat cakes, right?
You don't have a means of effectively grinding it, at least on Fort Drake, but you have such a vast expanse of land, and maybe you could jury-rig up some.
We can jury-rig a kern?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a kern, a mortar and pestle, anything like that.
I'm sure there's something that'll function.
You guys were talking about making windmills anyway, right?
Yeah, for power generation.
Yeah, there you go.
That is like one of their oldest uses.
Yeah. Actually, when we get back to Fort Drake, Podman could probably start looking into all that scrap and seeing if he could make a windmill.
Just build onto the side of one of the towers.
There has to be something useful in all that garbage.
I mean, it actually is a thing he could hypothetically do.
That would be more of a thing that would require, like, knowledge of architecture and engineering rather than just, like, craft metalworking.
Oh.
Like,
well, then
you could make the blades for it.
Yes, you could make the blades
yeah,
for
he could
it,
manufacture the parts
yes,
once...
but an actual running windmill, I can safely say Eugene has never done that before. nor has he ever given it serious consideration at any point in his life. Other than that one time he was high, and by that one time I mean all of the times he was high.
Every single time he just stares wistfully at the horizon, wishing he had his own windmill to joust.
His own windmill to joust?
Don Quixote, the Lord of La Mancha.
Okay.
I'm a nerd.
Literary nerd. You take your La Mancha and you go back to Iberia. You fucking Castilian scum.
For the Reconquista. What do we, like, we're looking for non-perishable food still, right? Like, so we know where a silo of wheat we can't carry with us is.
Yes.
Perhaps we should continue on up to the city and see what we can see. Or not, I mean...
No, I don't have a problem. I was just cramming spaghetti into my face.
Well, doesn't matter because I'm the one behind the wheel anyway.
Yes, I already added the rations you found to the ration counter. You have a cool even 300 right now.
Just have to figure out how many people that need to die so we can have an even amount per day lost.
Ha! Well,
Actually,
again...
you folks ended up rolling amazingly well in the scavenging things. There was a 16 and a 15 there.
Some of us rolled really well.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let me do what I'm gonna do here. Okay.
Actually, what was my roll? An 8?
8.
Should have been a 9 since I bumped scavenging.
Alright. Then that'll
So
count as
you
a
at
basic
least
success
passed as
there.
well.
Yeah.
Good
You're the
job.
one who noticed the beer.
In that case, there is an extra 51 rations that get acquired on top of that 17.
Slight
And
difference.
how much of that is beer?
Not all of it?
Disappointing.
An amount.
100% dried and cured beer.
It's jerked beer.
It's like a jackalope.
And it has that emblem of the deer beer hybrid on
That's
With a
his
question
branding.
mark.
yeah.
With a
is
question
branding.
mark. It's beer?
USDA grade question mark beer?
It's like one of those off-brands like Malto Meal cereal or something.
Yeah, it's a microbrewed brand in an era before microbrewing meant it was good.
General Mills beer.
General Mills.
It's a breakfast food.
I no.
It's Silosberg beer? Brand beer.
Fascinating. Straight from Silo country.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were a major competitor with Granny and her hooch brand hooch.
A major competitor despite being all the way down here.
Yeah,
you're
well,
shipping-
they were competing for a very small market.
Small market that basically extends the corridor from northern Maryland to northern Pennsylvania.
You know, about 15 miles.
Laugh it up, Jackals.
I am.
The minor nation has been updated.
Minor nation.
I forget what they called them. I never really played around with that part.
This is actually a city-state.
Yes. It's Silosberg.
Fascinating. Silosville.
In the Iberian Peninsula. So I'm guessing we're heading through St. James.
Yeah, I think so. Lost a bit of reputation with silos in the country too long.
I think they're plotting against. We're their only neighbor.
I was about
We
to
have border
fucking,
tensions.
I was about to fucking like end that little video recording when you said the Iberian Peninsula, and I just fucking fucking bastard. That was awesome.
Why don't you take that back to the Iberian Peninsula if your La Mancha shit? Okay.
What? I mean, after the collapse of all society, we have to start renaming new areas, right?
Yes, like New York.
All right, heading up to St. James then. Let's see, you rolled 3 successes. I think even 4 on your drive check.
15, whatever that
That's 4. Yeah, no need for an extra one. You do end up swerving around a handful of zombies at one point, including some of the jaunty ones, which bounce to and fro after the car for a ways. But you manage to outmaneuver them, and they lose track of you, or rather, you lose track of them, because you're in a vehicle that can maneuver and move faster than they can, considerably so. Reaching St. James, it looks about the condition that Summer Meadow was ever so long ago. Just that small town vibe and feel, with the streets absolutely in a carnage, with shattered vehicles and ruined building fronts, fallen lampposts. You got a smattering of livestock and animals, which you sure have been infected, moving out through the town. It doesn't look, at least from an initial glance, as you approach St. James, and I say approach because you might not want to drive through there, that there's anything that would say, like, you know, like a storefront which is still intact.
Are there any signage for the different stores?
You do have what amounts to, like, say, a general store, and we'll say it's like a Burt's General Store. There's no gas station here. The store here appears to be like, at least from like looking out from the outside here, looking in particularly the binoculars, it looks like it's got like that small town feel to it, like it's just like a small store that served like the area. It does not look as if it has, you know, it's like an actual like grocery store or supermarket. It just ended up being for this town. But the complete front area of that, like the windows have been shattered. There's like potatoes that were on stands like at the front, along with bags of charcoal still that have all been like ripped and just like scattered out in the front parking lot, with some of those dogs and a few cows just moseying on. You know, there goes like a potato there as one of them gets trampled. You got like a hair care place. You've got a what used to be like a restaurant called the Whistle Stop, which is by some railroad tracks that are nearby.
Huh.
Is it the train
Whistle Stop?
Stay.
Yes, the Whistle Stop. A small branch of the like the sort of county bank is here. You know, hair care place.
Well, is there any reason you guys want to wade through that, or should we just continue up towards the city?
Nothing in particular.
Actually wade through it? No.
So, onwards.
Okay.
I've seen what happens unless cows get agitated.
Circumventing past, then, as you're trying to head your way towards Hagerstown, I will ask for another dexterity plus driving check for you, and this will be at a -1.
Of death.
Oh God.
Go ahead and make that same roll again for me. Okay.
Never fails.
Of
-1.
death.
The legacy of the -1 continues. Alright. We'll say that in the process of trying to slowly push through as you're still looking at St. James there, trying to identify whether there be anything of use. You end up bumping into an actual walker zombie who gets himself, like, he latches onto like the hood of the vehicle, and he starts like pounding at the mirror. Grace manages to take him down with a crossbow bolt shot and doesn't lose the bolt in the process, but the windshield in the process gets damaged on the vehicle.
I don't think it even had a windshield.
There you go.
I think this is the one that had no windshield.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is windshieldless.
It's fine. In that case, the dashboard and basically your bodies now are covered in zombie spittle.
Nothing new.
Gonna try to wipe that off with any spare.
It's got a really familiar smell.
I feel like I've been here before. It smells like beer.
We're gonna come back and we're gonna be out of all the beer-based rations. Riggs is gonna be completely shit-faced.
All beer must be drunk.
He got completely shit-faced while he's in the car.
He is not partaking.
That's fine.
He's a party pooper.
It's more for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's liquid bread that has enough alcohol in it to counteract spoiling.
Anyway, with that wonderful event out of the way, you can actually make it to the interstate. And, well, Hagerstown has definitely stopped burning. It has been maybe close to 2 months since you drove past it. At least a month and a half. Looking out at least at the outskirts of what used to be the great city of Hagerstown. It's difficult to say. There might very well be dozens of places within the city that haven't burned down, but it looks as if that fire, whatever caused it, swept out of control and hit and just blitzed through the entire city. Being here on the southern edge looking in from the height of the interstate using the binoculars and just sweeping through, the buildings are charred from just that the immense cooking of the unchecked fire that swept through. And there's definitely plenty of activity that you can see there on the streets. Still zombies milling about in search of a meal.
There must have been rampant corruption with their fire marshal before all this.
Thinking about that, it, at least according to what initial ideas would think, you'd think that, if everything was up to date within the city, that the fires might not have spread so bad. But then again, you don't know the exact reason why those fires spread.
Guessing it was the lack of a fire department.
Sure, no, but even then, the buildings were probably way out of
The
code.
mayor of Hagerstown was trying to save on money, and so he cut back on fire department funding. And he heard about from the transit guy that he couldn't cut back on road funding or he'd regret it. So he just
the guy just keeps yelling at him, but the emergency services don't. So
yeah, he was like, "All right, so I mean, how often? I thought I turned disasters off. What's the worst that could happen?" So
the siren song of disaster.
So that guy has moved out further west. He's going to try making a new city for Sim Nation.
So is anything really still intact?
Here on the outskirts, there's certainly buildings, whereas office buildings of all kinds and all manners. I mean, it's a large city. And so there could very well be plenty of resources still within there. But here on the outskirts, you just have to go in there and look. And in a city that size, there still might be survivors there. Could be just about anything. You're not exactly sure. But what you can tell is that the fire really hurt the city pretty bad. The buildings, what's left of them as they stand, and fire can't ruin everything. The buildings do look a little weak.
Honestly, the last thing we want to meet is more people.
Well, maybe they'll have stuff.
Well, last thing after another tributary of rats.
Fair.
Tributary of battle cattle.
Still not as bad.
I guess we don't really have much choice but to go looking.
Are you going to try to take the car into the city, or are you going to leave that here and go walking?
At this point, I'd actually like to bring our supplies back.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's not looking like there's any particularly easy pickings here.
Nothing's going to be easy pickings, and we're kind of lacking in the gas department.
So, you want to find a gas station?
Well, we need something. Because if we go back now, just based on the distances we've heard, this car is pretty much out of gas.
Is that accurate?
But the car could get to Fort Drake and then back here to Hagerstown, but it wouldn't have enough gas to then get back to Fort Drake again.
Right, like next time if we take it back right now, next time we take it out, it's not getting back. And most of the vehicles are kind of looking like that.
Alright, so look for an intact gas station.
Okay.
Right? I'd rather we didn't just leave the car here with all of those provisions in it.
Yeah. If we can get there in the car to the gas station.
I can allow you to make scavenging checks basically on your way back to Fort Drake. They would be at a -6 penalty, but a successful check would result in finding a gas station which actually has gas.
What about other vehicles and potentially siphoning?
That would only be at a -2 penalty.
So is it at a 0 penalty if we're doing both?
For either or.
We'll go ahead and just say that it would be at a -2 penalty, your scavenging checks, then.
Okay. I'm totally on board for doing that.
So long as you have the tubing or whatever required to effectively siphon out gas from one vehicle to another.
Of course we do.
I assume we take that everywhere with us now. Like at this point.
It's in Grace's 50-pound...
Okay.
I'm just saying, all of us have probably developed a taste for gasoline.
Delicious, delicious petroleum.
At this point.
Well, and why wouldn't you? I mean, at this point now, gas prices in 2015 are as low as they were in 1999, so...
I don't believe that.
I meant that literally, because you're going to get a mouthful of gas when you...
Oh, you meant that literally?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, well, I guess we're heading back and trying to find fuel.
Sure.
Cool. Time for my scavenging roll. And this is perception, right?
Yes. And that has a -2 modifier attached to it.
Shit, then I'm at 11. My bad.
Okay. Let's see there. That's 6 combined successes from the 3 of you. Not only are you folks able to find enough gas to basically fill the car up to full, which ends up giving it a range of 550 miles from it's like 45 miles that it was currently at. You also end up finding through an assortment of just like food that's been left behind. You find 21 rations.
Oh man.
Add those. So the car right now is full of so much like food and beer right now.
Man, everyone's going to be so happy when we get back.
It is a real party wagon. In addition, you folks end up finding what ends up being a 12-gauge slug shotgun and a box of 20 shells.
Well,
nice.
That would be a thing.
I mean, I think Fletch is the best equipped to use it with his pistol skill, like a penalty or some shit.
I believe shotgun was falling under rifle.
Okay, especially since it fires slugs. Fair enough. So yeah, that's yours.
It's amusingly what they called them back in the Wild West days.
What?
It's far too loud race anyway.
So there you go, a slug shotgun with a capacity of 6, along with a box of 20 shells. The shotgun does not start loaded.
It's loaded now.
Okay.
Cool. Pawman feels safer with, Fletch armed.
Anybody having a gun?
Except for Riggs.
Fletch in particular.
Essentially a gun.
Yeah. The crossbow, Riggs is carrying his sidearm. And then Fletch has a shotgun now. And the wheel. Okay. Yeah, that'll take you back to Fort Drake. It'll be afternoon by this time. Particularly because you'll have to spend at least a bit of time emptying out the new car, which is the same as the old car.
Statistically accurate.
And all of the amazing and wonderful supplies that you got, basically taking food that had started below 300 rations and knocking it back up. You've effectively brought like 3 days of food back to the fort.
Which I'm sure gets lots of smiles.
And which is nowhere near enough.
Hey, it's more than the amount we consumed today.
Most certainly.
That game.
And that's not even counting whatever searching that Lance is going to be doing at night.
And it's also not searching whatever loads of grain we decide to take back from those silos at a later date.
Yes.
Because
All
we
of
really
which will
can
be made into alcohol.
Well,
Yes.
You'd have to grind it first.
Yeah. Yes, you have a silo of wheat. You're going to have to figure out how to resolve at some point.
Well, here's the thing. We can make it edible just by soaking it and toasting it. Or making it into oat cakes or whatever. Making it into booze is a little bit trickier. So.
I'm sure Alfonso will be able to figure out how to make it into booze. That seems to be what he's actually good at.
But at any rate, we can probably go there with a lot of our empty drums that we have and haul some of those back in the car.
You could do that. You would want to bring along a different vehicle than a car, though. With those drums.
I mean, that would definitely be preferable.
Yeah. Unless you're going to, strap the drums to the roof. I've seen
Or,
how low these straps
just fill
go.
up the back seat with maybe 1 or 2.
Well, does anybody here know anything about fixing cars?
No.
There is Ace, who has some mechanic skill, but your best bet for anything pertaining to fixing cars
Don't
is
even
the
say
man, the myth, the legend.
The insanest person alive.
Yes.
So what would be required to attempt to understand what needs to be done?
For what situation?
To try to figure out how to fix the party truck.
Oh, okay. That would be a, I do believe a... Let me go ahead and check the book on this to make sure. That's by searching the book soundtrack.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was pretty obvious, really.
I can at least help with the electrical problems.
I would say analyzing the situation, and just trying to fix it would definitely be an intelligence and mechanics task. Intelligence plus mechanics.
Well, why not?
And that intelligence plus mechanics would operate, I would say, at the same -2 penalty for the damage steering.
Yeah.
Because that party truck steering got fucked up bad. Because the person who was driving the vehicle while partying in it, and
Was even worse.
he definitely did a lot of partying. While sitting
Might have
naked
to
in the front
adjust
seat.
this roll, but I'm not expecting it to pass.
Okay. As I noted, Ace does have some mechanic skill, and he could certainly look at it. He just didn't know about the truck.
Yeah, I'd definitely ask him then.
Sure, he can take a look at it, since
he has any skill, which is better than no skill.
Yes, he has a whopping 3 ranks of it. As it turns out, he's done some mechanic work before, like on helicopters.
So can I give him a boost die by standing nearby and doing the manly thing of nodding along and agreeing with his assessments?
A boost die? I'm sorry, you must have mistaken this for another system.
I could possibly help by checking the electrodes. Yeah.
Well, looks like that'll be sufficient.
Even that -2.
Mm-hmm. That was a fair roll for him. Yeah, Ace, especially with all of the various bits and pieces and scrap metal and scrap electronics that have been brought back by Tony, he could actually spend the rest of the evening, he thinks, making sure to wire this back up. Well, not the rest of the evening. He could have this done by 6 or 7 in the evening.
Reattach the axle.
Yes.
It sounds like we're going to need the truck soon.
And that'll be enough time for the truck to be unloaded with all of the stuff that's still in the back.
By the end of it, all of our footwear are just destroyed.
So, yes, Ace can spend that time fixing it. Trusty Tony brought back all manners of curious esoterica. There's this metal sort of plate thing that you think would have been put on one of those pizzazz pizza cookers that you can actually heat up the pizza while it's not in an oven. There's a stop sign. There's a street signs as well.
A speed limit sign that doesn't end in 0 or 5.
Yes. Oh, this was Webster Avenue, and he's just taking it for whatever purpose.
Something that looks like the anti-theater device.
Slow children at play. That sign's been taken as well. He's got sheet metal from the siding of a house.
We put slow children at play up over Zane's bedroom door.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really mean.
Rub out the comma between slow and children.
All manners of wonderful things. Also, welcome to the party, Jordan.
Hi.
Hey. We found some food. And beer. And
Congrats.
beers.
Replace small flesh must be eaten, Jordan?
Not really.
Welcome to the club.
Well, I mean, we would have started, Edge of the Empire today, I'm sure, but you weren't here, so we had to make do with what we had.
It's factually your fault.
Why couldn't Tony have gone mad and killed us all?
Damn it. Well, you folks super fucking restrained him.
We sufficiently restrained him.
Sufficiently restrained him. At any rate, during this few hours of unloading and then fixing the steering in this truck, we can head up to the roof where Trusty Tony's at. Trusty Tony has been on the roof, chained and strapped in all manners of wonderful discomfort for the past, basically the past 36 hours. Now, there is some good news associated with that. Trusty Tony has healed up 2 life points because a full day has passed. And Trusty Tony has also healed up 10 essence points.
That's the exact opposite thing I wanted.
Trusty Tony is able in his nightmare land while he's there strapped to the roof to tell Dr. Franklin Knight to get fucked and actually not buy a lemon from him. And that causes the nightmare sort of visions that he's been having to plague him every day to collapse. And he wakes up feeling relatively a bit better about his situation. Of course, the fact that he's stuck here on the roof certainly doesn't help matters.
Nightmares, come back! Please! I'll spend all my experience points to bring the nightmares back. You know what? I'll spend all Aaron's experience points.
I didn't hear Grimith say anything about you losing your derangements.
I don't care about the derangement. I want to go crazy. I want to go crazy and die. That's plan A through Z now.
Well, I have some bad news. Trusty Tony has succeeded on the 2 difficult willpower tests with stiff penalties because he's been slipping. Required to break the nightmares.
Look at the silver lining. You're still negative essence. You're still depressed. You can just swan dive off the roof.
Yeah, but that's kind of a dick move.
He can't get off the roof. He can't fucking move off the roof.
I do have escape artist. Or whatever it's called in this game.
Well, once he appears to start recovering, we're probably going to unhook him.
It is literally impossible at a -15 penalty. They have you fucking strapped and tied and starved up there.
After you invisibly and inaudibly phased through your bindings before.
Okay, I'm going to spend a destiny point. I don't have any of these bindings on me.
Your restraints are restrained.
But, yeah, for real, we're probably going to let you out if you seem to start recovering.
Yep.
That's a dumb move. You don't know if I'll remiss.
No, we don't. But at the same time, we don't want to keep doing this.
That's a risk we don't care if we take.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's fairly accurate.
At any rate, the only other people up there with Tony right now are Zane and Pink, of all people, and the two have just been politely chatting to one another over the course of the day. Ace has been busy flying around in the helicopter and doing mechanical work, so you hear.
Alright.
Yeah. Let's just give you a kind of situation. But yeah, everyone just fucking abandoned you up there to the same hell that Eugene had been abandoned up there to
It's
suffer.
almost as if he wasn't mentally there to respond if we tried to interact with him.
They're dead to me now.
He's chewed through the ball gag.
Oh, guess what? You're not gonna be able to
So
tell.
wait. Why'd you have a ball gag in the giant purse ears?
Is that a real question?
No.
Like the pair of fuzzy handcuffs come with them? Or? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Your hirsute handcuffs. Alright. Gets to be 6 in the evening. The party truck is fully unloaded, except for like a few like random cogs and gears from like clock mechanisms. And Ace finishes fixing the steering completely. Manages to remove the penalty.
Okay.
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 So,
Good times.
truck is no longer busted.
It's factually correct. The steering column works now, without penalty.
Got a whole
How
bunch of
many
smack-
drums can we fit in its bed?
Oh, well, let's see here. The size of those drums, I would say, let's say at the size of those drums, I'd say 4.
In volumes of metric rations.
But then you could, like, stack, like, another 4 on top of, like,
Okay,
those.
we want to actually get this back without a negative 10 penalty.
Yeah, and without it spilling everywhere.
Then I would say 4, particularly once the drums are filled.
How many rations worth would that be looking at?
Yeah, how many rations per drum?
Because we would know this kind of thing.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, we would.
Right, but out of character, just Metagaming eyeballing it.
We don't even need to ask. We can just go fill it up and we'll find out.
That's fair. I mean, we're going to do it either way. I'm just kind of curious beforehand.
and you know what your curiosity? The answer I have for you is the answer you should be expecting. I have no fucking clue.
Fair enough.
About 15.
Yeah, that's same here. You have about 50 rations per drum.
15 sounds like a great number to me. I like 15.
Sure. So...
How the hell is engineering?
Spatial?
Hey, I declared that's what I'm using. You have to figure out how it works.
It doesn't.
But it succeeded.
Not at the penalty that I've now assigned to it.
retroactively.
Can I have
so
some computers?
what time of day are we looking at?
6 in the evening.
Alright, so that'll be something to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we actually aren't in a huge rush.
Yeah. Tomorrow's fun.
Can't hear you over all the salty snacks.
So, yeah, I guess we go to sleep.
Might want to check on Tony. I mean,
Nah, he's fine.
Well, I mean, sure, we can check on him. I assumed that was something we were going to be doing anyway.
Think of all the times that people checked on Eugene.
Yeah,
Not very often.
Not very often.
fair enough.
He was also a murderer. He still is, technically.
Yeah,
Eugene's been a murderer for a lot longer than that.
a lot of us are murderers.
that's right. He remembers the that
Killing
place.
people that aren't part of the party is not murder.
Yeah, he shot that guy in the back
Yeah,
right as he came
yeah.
into the room. Really well.
And that was in self-defense anyway.
Technically,
Literally.
As if it's
that guy didn't shoot yet.
I feel like when you kick in somebody's door and
You
enter
didn't
their
know?
home with weapons...
that and Eugene also remembers that place like by the gas station that blew up with that guy who was panicking who held the gun
Yep.
The one that I shot in the leg.
before you all drove off on the tractors
Yep.
Cat crushed his skull afterwards.
to escape.
He was
from
already
zombies.
dead.
Was dying. It's mercy.
It was like a negative 40 shot. He was dead.
Well, you couldn't have him standing back up, could you?
Hey, he was still wiggling.
He was dead.
He had like 20 hit points and he took 40 damage.
It didn't have to be like this.
It did, actually.
Well, he's the one who brought it to that point.
So I guess we'll see what Tony's been up to with his day.
That's certainly easy for you folks to get to the roof. Don't even need a skill check.
What?
Little do they know I've mined all the entrances to the roof.
I'm okay with
Like,
it. I step on the
with
mine
landmines or with a pickaxe?
with imagination mines.
If some people hadn't been, dicks and tied me up, maybe I would have done something with all that cool shit I brought back, but no.
We did
The cool
something with all that
shit's
cool
still
shit
there.
you brought back.
I doubt it.
Yeah, we
And-
put it in a bigger pile.
That's a waste of time. You guys are nerds.
Somebody's not getting any of the
Oh, it was all
right?
perfectly sorted before.
It was perfectly sorted. You guys just don't have any vision.
Yeah, it was perfectly sorted all over the road between Boonsboro and Fort Drake.
Yes, it was.
Hey,
There's a lot of garbage on the way back.
hey. Shut up. My plan worked.
What? So, how's Tony doing?
Oh, just sitting here, cramped out of my mind, wishing I could go do something with that cool metal stuff. The usual. Thinking about throwing myself over this edge right here. Suicidal
Eugene
thoughts.
knows that feeling.
Suicidal thoughts.
That's all usual?
Yeah, the usual. Why don't you just come over here and give me a little push, Just a little push.
And then it's all over.
Trusty Tony survives the 7-story fall.
Fuck you.
The cat crushes his head with a bat.
Yeah.
He was suffering.
Plus, I mean, even if he went way into the negatives, he's got so much hard to kill.
He is so hard to kill. He'd have to pick himself up somehow and throw himself off twice.
At least.
So, Zane, he do anything other than moan?
Zane says, he talked about how he wanted to mine, like, the entrance to the roof.
Like
Oh,
with a
also-
pickaxe?
No, with like bombs and pickaxes.
Pickaxe bombs?
There's
No,
an idea.
bombs, but now that you mention it.
I think the sun might be getting to him.
Yeah, he doesn't have,
That big glowing red orb in the sky.
red?
You mean it's not red to you?
No.
You guys might want to get that checked out.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So really, though, did you see anything other than, well, Tony, just out there in the distance?
Particularly to the south.
Yeah,
Zane says, no.
you really can't
Good.
see all those, you know. We got some interesting stuff up north, too. We found a grain silo. Full of wheat.
Congrats. You want a cookie?
Yes.
That'd be
I-
nice.
Well,
You guys need to untie me and then I can make some cookies.
I don't think you're going to make any cookies.
What do you think I'm going to make then?
Metal things?
Mines?
All of the above?
Porque no los dos.
There's more than two, Aaron.
Are there?
Yes.
Por qué no los cuatro?
There we go. But you nerds untie me. None of that stuff's gonna get put to use. So
You just,
I mean,
if we're gonna
nerds.
out here another day, we should probably like put a canopy over him so he doesn't get sunstroke.
Too late.
honestly, he still hasn't hurt anyone.
Mm.
I mean, are you planning on going out in the middle of the night and busting up vehicles again?
Who can say?
You could,
I
one
could.
way or the other.
But would it be a
Really,
lie
just-
if I did anyways?
That's what I'm asking you.
What if I were to tell you I have no control over what I do sometimes?
Then you might be staying in those chains.
Then you might be staying there.
Mm. You guys want to untie me, so untie me. Yes.
We do when you're not crazy.
Are any of you guys psychiatrists?
No.
So how do you know I'm crazy? What if you guys are crazy, huh? Ever think of that?
Well, I think the whole admitting that you don't know what you're doing some of the times is kind of a hint.
Yeah.
Zane says, I don't know what I'm doing sometimes.
You
Yeah.
never.
That's
tell
for a
them, Zane.
different
That's a
reason,
different
Zane.
problem.
Zayd, you stand up to the men.
Zane looks over at Pink. Pink just shakes her head.
Whatever.
I mean, if you don't want us to untie you, we don't have
Well, whatever. You guys are gonna make your decision one way or another. Nerds.
to. Yeah, and you could have a contributing factor in that.
Could I?
Yes. And you're, like, putting forth a whole lot of effort not to.
Look,
Like, you're
got
making a pretty good case against it.
Well, that escalated
Okay.
quickly.
Nice talk. I'll let someone else decide. I don't think I had a say in the first place.
we could try, the alcohol thing again.
And,
Well,
just
it's
go.
only been one day since he's been up here, so let's see
Yes.
how he's doing in the morning.
I'm just going to sort of head downstairs.
You can go into bed.
Some
You
alcohol
guys
again.
are a bunch of nerds.
Yes.
All right.
I'll take my 2 hit points.
Yes, if there is nothing else that you folks wish to do, or are able to do for the night, it will pass without interruption. You will regain 2 life points as your bodies continue to slowly heal.
Fantastic.
In addition, let me check something here. Yeah, Trusty Tony recovers, let me...
A lot.
Yes, a lot. Let me see here. Trusty Tony's back to full essence.
Just from the day he probably would have been.
Sort of overnight?
Basically, like, just overnight as he's laying there thinking about whatever.
So now, aside from the
He's got
horrible suicidal recklessness and the compulsion to collect scrap metal, he's
perfectly fine.
The obsession as a strict disadvantage also does fade with the healing of the essence back above negatives into the positives.
Oh,
However,
so it doesn't
completely
exist.
offset by the fact that he's gaining it naturally, so we don't even notice it goes away.
That's right. It doesn't exist anymore as a mechanical feature.
Oh, kitty.
Alright.
Alright.
Anyway, the morning arrives.
Cool.
Do I-
Pawman's gonna rope together some people to go check on the hydroponic lab.
How much essence did I gain over the night? I'm sorry, I had to go to my...
You have
You're
all
full.
of it. You're at full now.
You completely recovered overnight.
You've also lost your obsession, at least mechanically wise.
Mechanically
I'll
wise,
be-
yes.
Yes.
I'll be tending to livestock.
You
All
are
right.
dramatically recovered mentally.
Yes, Trusty Tony has managed, through incredible rolls, to conquer the nightmares that he was challenged with completely.
One could almost say he's sane.
And finally, his resolute mind combined with some high dice rolls for a change. And his fast reaction time, of course.
Because that matters when you're... That matters in a dream world.
Yes.
It does when you're dealing with a, salesman.
Because you can think quick.
That's right. You think on your toes, salesman to salesman. Morning transitions into afternoon then, as Eugene looks after the crops to ensure that everything's okay, and Fletch tends to the animals. You'd basically be at noon by this point. Oh, and one other thing. Should go ahead and subtract the food that was lost and add the food that was found, which in their case
Was a lot.
absolute treasure trove found by Lance, actually managing to find an overturned, basically a clusterfuck like traffic jam resulted in 2 overturned semis that are full of basically it's just like Campbell's soup, like as far as the fucking eye could see, just like scattered across like the roads and still left in the semi still.
Well, that doesn't have any nutrition value.
Okay, well,
Sphere of flavor.
aside from the cows, the easily preserved canned food should probably be our last resort.
It takes it
How
down.
are they able to bring all of that back, or is there still a bunch laying out there?
Lance is able to, over the course of the entire night, that ends up being what he does. Lance and Alfonso, the two of them together. And all told, that actually is quite a bit. That adds another 88 rations.
Perfect.
So 2 days.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
See here. Let me
We're
go-
still quite a ways behind a month.
Yeah, but at the moment, we're getting
Yeah.
a net positive every day.
Yep. The real issue is going to come when we deplete the immediately surrounding area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hordes and hordes of cans of, and the boxes of fucking soup.
I'll take that over lettuce every day.
Word.
It's cabbage. There's a difference.
No, it is
Yeah,
lettuce.
you just made it worse.
And actually, cabbage is a lot easier to get the nutrition out of.
I'm not talking about terms of nutrition.
Well, you should.
I'm talking about terms of enjoying life.
Oh, well, I definitely enjoy cabbage way more than lettuce.
Depends on the lettuce.
I
really
also
doesn't.
like the cabbage.
Lettuce is just terrible. It's the worst green.
You guys can keep talking about your vegetables all you want. I'm going to eat pork.
Good for you.
Now it goes great with pork? Lettuce.
You're back.
You know what goes great with
now.
pork?
More pork?
Sauerkraut.
Ugh, I hate that shit.
It's time for lunch.
Rat pork and pork.
So... Yeah, what do we want to do with the newfound day?
We could definitely get some of that grain.
Sure.
That's, what, 60 units per round trip?
I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention to the math.
15 units per drum.
You
drums per
you
truck.
can fill 4 drums.
15 arbitrary units per drum.
15 meal units, ration units. Yeah.
That seems really low for an entire drum.
Yeah, but he went with it, so...
What the fuck? I
Pretty
said
sure it
you
was
can
a
drink
joke.
4 drums.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure him
it's-
going with it was a joke anyway.
So yeah, 60 units total per trip.
I'm about to fucking throw down this headset and walk away.
Seriously. Yeah, let's go fill up drums with not 15 units.
Okay.
Alright.
Is there anything you need to check on in the hydroponics lab before we go?
He just did.
Already did that.
That's what the morning was done.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
what the morning activities were taken care of. I also thought it was mentioned that you guys were to take a look at Trusty Tony again in the morning as well.
Yeah. We
Yep.
do need to see how Tony's doing.
Oh yeah, he's still up there.
Yeah.
So how's Tony doing in the morning?
Fucking hate you guys.
Yes, and
Untie me.
Are you feeling sane? Are you
Sane enough
going
to
to
kick
run
your-
off with a vehicle again?
The only reason I would run off a vehicle is to kick your sorry ass. For tying me up here on the roof.
Okay,
You were kind
that's
of
good enough. I'd let you out now.
You were kind of going
Uns-
stupid crazy, so
Yeah, that
Don't
was
strap
ridiculous. You were destroying
Untie-
everything and hurting yourself.
Shane says, "Are you sure? I thought he was getting lots of useful things."
He was getting lots of rusted crap,
okay.
showing
And
up
one of the
injured, and he almost destroyed our truck.
and one of the cars is just gone, and I'm pretty sure there are some parts laying around that I think used to be part of
Yeah,
it.
he annihilated multiple vehicles and got a bunch of junk.
And doesn't remember any of it, as well as at some point losing all of his clothes.
Anyway, point is, he hasn't hurt anyone. It seems like he's calmed down. Let's let him go.
Sure, why not?
And if he wants to beat me up, I'm not exactly going to stop him.
Tonight, schoolyard, 6 o'clock. We throw down.
Alright, it takes several minutes to undo every single binding and restraint that you have placed on Tony. But eventually, you can free him from his bondage.
Eventually, blood gets to the rest of his body.
Well, we're going to have to amputate. All
Don't
right,
joke about this, Eugene.
I was joking about that out of character.
Don't joke about this, Aaron.
So we're heading up to pick up some wheat. Yeah, I know.
Yes, and?
You want to come?
we should go.
Or do you want to just sort through all of that scrap out front? Now that you're okay, there's probably a bunch of stuff you can find to do with it.
There's probably something useful in that pile.
Yeah.
Do you really need me to go up with you to go to the wheat farm or whatever it is?
I just figured you might want to stretch your legs a little. If you don't, that's fine.
I'll go with you. Got nothing better to fucking do.
Fair enough.
Right. The four of you then head back downstairs, load the 4 drums up in the bed of the party truck, and all 4 of you obviously bundle into the cab. No. The 4 of you get inside the party truck and head on out.
It's an extended cab.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And head back to the Berian county of Silosburg. It's a county now, I suppose.
Have the bear.
It's a little bit too small to be a country.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, some of those European countries are
don't
muy
count.
itty-bitty.
They don't count.
Look at
They're
you,
called
Anhalt.
Anhalt does not... Whatever. You're a nerd.
Driver of this truck, go ahead and give me a dexterity plus drive roll to account for the fact that, well, you're taking this vehicle out. You need to make sure that you can handle, whatever turns and whatever zombies might be in the way. Good news is that the penalty is no longer there.
Are trucks under car?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
He's on.
Alright.
It rides on its back wheels all the way there.
Trusty Tony is a little upset about him being up there on the roof for so long without being able to do anything.
So I'm just gonna have a conversation with you all, not staring at this road while I drive.
Right.
It's not the first time he's looked at you all while having a conversation.
So he just really gets it out of his system by chewing us out and driving fast.
Yeah.
2 things that he loves to do.
See, guys, I'm perfectly fine.
Just has a nice de-stressing drive.
Now let me just drift around this thing over here for a few minutes.
Fills up the barrels without getting out of the car.
You're gonna fishtail! No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Here's why you're wrong. Hey,
No,
you're a
let's
nerd.
just... Okay.
Like Trusty Tony for 2 seconds, like, overcompensates and realizes that the steering's been fixed and then goes back to driving perfectly. With all the successes, though, all 5 of them, you easily make it to the silo. So much so that much less fuel is burned through. It's efficient driving through the power of 5 successes. It's like Trusty Tony found shortcuts.
He keeps finding places he can coast.
That doesn't work in real life.
That's it. He finds places that he can coast and just, like, glides right on through.
He somehow drafts behind all of the parked cars.
Now, you see, air resistance here is much smaller due to the... What?
Trust me, it works. Look.
Yes. Okay.
Build thermodynamics and physics.
You are able to make it to the silos without incident. And over the course of time, and this can basically be your entire day, at least one day, slowly go through constantly hauling these back, and then bringing new drums out here. You could fill 12 drums, and there'd still be plenty more in the silo before the truck runs out of fuel.
Well, let me ask, what else is around the silos?
Dilapidated, rusted farm equipment that hasn't been tended to for very long. Fields that are overgrown with just grass and useless other forms of growth, like weeds and what have you. There's like a prefab shed that you could disassemble given the time and then take that back. It's a relatively small one. There's a much bigger one which actually houses farming equipment, but the truck couldn't hold all of that in one haul. You would have to, like, say, a trailer to put all the shed in.
Alright.
Since you answered all that, I assume we poked our heads in there and stuff.
Sure.
Any seeds?
Scavenging check?
I'm making it.
No, there's no need for that. You folks did well enough on your scavenging. Whenever you comb through this area, sure, there's an assortment of seeds. Basically just an extension of what was found at Lowe's ever so long ago, which
All flowers.
Eugene had partly gone through.
Cool. No reason not to have a little bit of redundancy there.
Yeah, there's that assortment of crops that farmers would grow here in this area over the course of a year.
Hmm?
I am really glad that Tony doesn't have any smoke right now because of the possibility of a grain explosion. Well, dust.
Who said Trusty Tony doesn't have smokes? You think he'd go anywhere without grabbing a cigarette?
He's all out, remember?
You mean I'm not supposed to be smoking here? 'Cause I'm not stopping.
You want me to step away from the silo?
Dude, with like 5 successes, he fishtailed past another car and hit it just right to cause like a lighter to pop out of it and into his hand.
He sideswiped a car perfectly to throw sparks up onto his cigarette.
Anyway, speaking of fuel, I'd be fine doing some siphoning on the way to and from this time
Did
as
you
well.
bring a hose?
Yes.
We covered that.
It's in the 50-pound purse.
There ends up being, it'll be enough fuel to basically make the truck not lose any and gain another 60. But by that point, you've completely tapped out the fuel at any of the gas stations and vehicles that you've found between Fort Drake and the silos.
And we were going to have to finish it off eventually.
But the entire day will basically be spent hauling, well, at least from the afternoon forward, and you can fill 12 of these large drums that you've used for like water and acetone and whatever.
It just flavors it.
Yes, your acetone flavored wheat.
Delicious.
So if you can end up coming up with an idea or a way to handle 12 drums full of wheat, but for the time being, you have that.
Cool.
And that'll basically take you into nightfall.
You soak them, pack them, and make oat cakes.
So yeah, we'll,
Not going to be tasty.
I guess we got a bunch of drums of
Filler.
delicious food.
Food filler.
Might just have to
Calories.
Might have to chew on some cardboard to get some flavor with it.
Pretty much. But it will still give you calories.
Oh, by
Carbohydrate pucks.
That sounds delicious.
Oh no, it's awful, but it's the difference between starving and not starving.
Yes. Now night has fallen. Would any of you wish to do anything else over the course of this night?
Well, the question is, how well did Trusty Tony sleep last night? Probably pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well. Of course, he was still stuck up there on the roof.
Yeah, that
Aside
Tony's
from
really
waking
good.
up stiff,
Extremely
he was
uncomfortable
great.
and stiff, and he's got cramps everywhere.
Tony will spend a couple hours fishing through that pile of junk, and then probably go to bed.
It's like, alright, so, oh yeah, there was that slow children at play sign. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember this. Sort of.
Not
Vaguely.
at all.
I remember.
It was funny for the first time when he sees it.
This is still funny.
I can see why I would want it.
Let me go put this over Eugene's door.
Alright, so...
That joke basically already got played too.
Yep.
They only did it for Zane instead of Eugene. That's great, though. You can certainly affix that.
Yeah, I am.
Be a sneaky ninja.
Sneakily.
He's got silent drilling. It'll be fine.
Sure. At least my drills never break.
There's like a few skateboards which you decided to pick up for whatever reason. There's a Walkman. Ah, cool, a Walkman.
Does it still work?
Yeah, it does. You just don't have any batteries for it.
Fuck. I could use some tunes.
You know who to ask for batteries.
Well, Probably the headphones look like they're busted. Oh well.
Yeah, they got mangled and smashed in with all the other things. You'd have to jury-rig up a set of speakers.
Yeah, that's something I can do. I guess. Later.
Yes.
First ever iPod dock.
Along with, like, the essential Johnny Cash.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Jerk cash.
I'm okay with this haul. Got a cool joke, some interesting things, and, you know, Johnny Cash's greatest hits for the Sony Walkman.
50 pounds of saran wrap. Where the fuck did you find 50 pounds of saran wrap?
Now I'm gonna saran wrap Pop Man to his bed.
You'd be like an asshole and just like cover like the basically the two stairwells because his entire floor is a maze, right? And so whenever he tries to like walk out the stairs, he just like runs right into the saran wrap.
Yep.
Oh God, why? Don't eat me.
Probably could use this for something other than. Well, that's 50 pounds of saran wrap. Holy fuck.
50 pounds of saran wrap.
That's fucking huge.
Yes.
Saran wrap.
You have a small child's haul of saran wrap.
I didn't know they came in those sizes.
They don't, which makes how you managed to acquire 50 pounds of it all the more mystifying.
Is this like one of those giant industrial saran wrap things? Because, well,
No, it's an entire massive collection of smaller, like, supermarket-sized boxes of saran wrap.
damn.
That have all been rolled out, heat gunned together, and rolled back up into a 5-foot post.
That's actually cool.
Fittingly enough, next to it, you find a heat gun.
Hey, this could work.
Uh-oh.
I just need a little tank with some little gasoline in the bottom here, a little spray hose, and a way to make the heat gun have an open flame. God damn it, Tony, you're an idiot.
Baby steps.
Aren't you thinking of styrofoam anyways?
Styrofoam plus orange juice makes napalm? No, it's styrofoam plus diesel fuel. Never mind.
Yeah.
He carries around the heat gun as a
Orange juice isn't
flamethrower.
the most flammable.
There was a long-standing internet joke about orange juice being a vital component of
Shut
frozen
up,
orange
Aaron.
juice.
Aaron, stop being a nerd.
You can't
No.
help it.
You weren't here for what happened earlier.
So,
Was I?
No, you weren't. I was a huge nerd.
Stop being a huge nerd, Aaron.
Can't stop, won't stop.
All right.
Full of nerd.
You know what happens to nerds, Aaron?
There's the
Alright.
swirlies.
Food actually ends up going up by 6 during the night from what Lance and Alfonso bring back, and that's after deducting food lost.
Perfect.
So you're sitting at 4:30 as you start the next day. Still at the tail end of August here. 2 life points for everyone. Trusty Tony has completely shaken the mandatory desiccation assigned nightmares.
The mandatory desiccation assigned nightmares. New from Mattel.
Yes. It's a very complex name for trademark purposes only.
Yeah.
Here at the Mandatorium.
Mandatorium.
It's gonna happen. Period.
Mandatorium.
perfect. Ship it.
Fund it.
Kickstarter.
So,
Next week on Patreon.
what do we want to do now that we have, assuming we're doing the same morning routine type stuff, what do we want to do now that we have 12 drums of wheat?
Continue making it into oatcake.
Yeah, pretty much. Packing it all into oatcakes.
None of you have any sort of conceptualization of all of how to, like, turn wheat into oatcakes.
Nope. None of you guys do. None of us know how to cook.
I'm pretty sure that's not a skill. Well,
It
they
is
might
now.
toss it in their craft.
It is now.
I'm actually curious as to whether or not it's a skill.
Cooking? No, it's not. It's not at all. Flesh must be eaten skill.
I'm guessing it would fall under craft, if anything.
I would say so, yeah.
Craft cookery.
Okay, so what? Depending on what we roll, that affects how many we can produce per barrel? I honestly... I'm wondering how we're going to do this.
Yeah, me too.
I think the idea was your characters really have no idea what to do with the wheat. Even just...
Could we attempt some straight-up intelligence-based something to try to
Is this something we need to find like a cookbook for? Or?
The problem is that you can ask me this question, but like I can't give you as players an answer because I don't know what you could reasonably and feasibly do with this.
Oh, seriously, make oat pucks, basically.
Yeah.
They're not going to be tasty, but...
I suppose you could eventually attempt to suss out the mechanics, maybe something in one of the books that was brought back. Oh, wait. That didn't happen.
So dumbasses
so
in the library.
It's going to be
like I said,
really...
we're going to need to go find a cookbook.
It's going to be really difficult to make oat cakes from wheat anyway, but...
Yeah.
Find a way.
Like, I've made quite a number of things. Oat cakes is not on the list of things I've made, so I'm like...
You nerds can go off cooking all you want. I need to put this I need to put the Swagmobile back together. Better than ever.
We could also try and put together some sort of like mortar and pestle or cairn or something.
That sounds like a nerd thing, Popman.
Yes.
Sounds like a basic way of processing grain into powder.
Yeah.
I think I saw something on the cable once where African tribes would like pound these giant stone things into this giant stone thing. I don't know, do that.
At the most basic, it's just crushing it between two rocks.
Basically what a kern does.
That's basically what a kern is.
Yes, it's literally two rocks that slide against each other.
I believe it's pronounced quern. The Q is not silent.
Burn.
Where in kern is the Q being silent? It's kind of the cut noise at the beginning.
Whatever. You guys figure out the whatever things.
Okay.
You're like the most mechanically inclined person here.
Yeah, this was the rocks.
Which is... I'm pretty sure mechanical principle goes into building a device that can do this.
Okay, I got an idea. Get me an engine.
Basically, we're asking you to jury rig us up a grinder.
Okay. Get me an engine that's not the engine for the Swagmobile.
Something that won't require fuel.
Get me an engine.
Okay.
You're asking us to trade...
Yes. That's
basic survival for random...
I'm pretty sure basic survival can be, done...
Well, no, here's the thing. He disassembled a car, so we have an engine.
I said aside from the Swagmobile engine. That thing's getting put back together better than ever.
We're literally asking for help for the entire base to stay alive, and you're wanting trade.
And no.
Okay.
That's kind of your thing here, is like driving, shooting, and mechanics, and 2 of the 3 aren't required for this task.
If it's going to take an engine, Palman's just going to try and make something stupid out of metal.
All I'm going to do is just take the truck out and drag back the closest vehicle to the base.
Hey, that works.
That could certainly be done.
I have a feeling if we bring you this thing, you're not going to do any work on the grinder.
I can work on the grinder while you get me an engine. See, I can give a little.
I feel like no giving is really being done since this is something the entire group needs.
Including him.
Yeah.
How very Republican of me.
I'm sorry, republics don't exist anymore.
Alright. You've won me over. I'll make your thing.
Like, seriously, if you need an engine, we can get it. Just
yeah, I don't know.
Make the grinder.
Okay, well...
We don't need to turn it into a trade.
All right. Try to engage in a little capitalism and see what happens.
This is why you end up tied up on roofs.
But this is capitalism.
All right. I went ahead and deducted the fuel from Party Truck 2.0. You can certainly you certainly pass plenty of no longer functioning or moving vehicles on your way.
Yeah, we'll find one that looks like the front section is reasonably intact, so hopefully the engine isn't fucked, and drag it back.
Yeah,
Alright.
one that ideally looks like it's just out of gas.
As it turns out, you can find at least one of those on the way between Artesia and Boonesboro, complete with strips that would be used to deflate tires. So the vehicle certainly exists.
Oh no.
Is it still dragging those strips behind it?
You can detach those.
Oh.
You don't have to. Like, you can let it fucking dangle it if you wanted.
If we drag them back like that, it would potentially just grind down the points. Probably take them off and put them in the back of the truck.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Certainly. Still in the early afternoon phase, you can bring back an engine. To do any sort of, let's see here. I don't know. I suppose I'd have to know exactly what you were trying to make with this engine now that you have one.
Well, this is what I was going to do. We're basically going to use the engine, cycling it down so it's at low RPMs, because you don't want that thing going thousands of revolutions per minute. That will just, you'll have weed everywhere. It will be messy. So anyways, we're basically going to use the engine to power the spinny bit that will turn the grinder around,
What part of something that doesn't require fuel was just completely missed?
I can make it not use fuel.
That's what we were asking for.
I can make it not use fuel.
Yeah, like, seriously, all we need is, like, a hand crank with two gears that rub against each other.
But you see, that's not cool.
No, we want something muscle-powered so that once we're totally out of fuel, we can still process things.
How about, if you want it to be more complicated than just walking in a circle, how about you rig up some gears or something that connects to, like, a bicycle thing?
Hey, we do have a bicycle in this. We do have a bicycle in this thing. It's a nice rusted out one. No seat.
Is that good enough?
Lance will kill you.
Yeah, that would actually work great, probably, as long as we're not, like, stealing Lances or something.
I'm pretty sure we brought back another bike.
Is Lance's rusted out?
Like,
I'm pretty sure we had Lances and one other bicycle.
Yeah, I'd prefer to not kill a usable bicycle, because that actually is going to be really useful.
Well, if it's as simple as, just swap it, like, you set the tires in these chocks and then swap the chain over to the gears on the grinder.
Yeah, that'd be perfect and amazing.
Yeah, so then it can now be doing double duty.
Yeah, and if we followed that train of logic, we could create other muscle-powered contraptions that you plug a bike into.
Yeah, you just drive a bike up to it, plug it in, and go to work.
Okay. To make this particular device, this is going to be your dexterity and your intelligence are both the same value at 4. We'll actually go with the dexterity thing. They're both equal, so it doesn't matter. This would be a mechanics plus dexterity check for you at a -5 penalty. And this is going to take you, for sure, at least the rest of the night to assemble.
Nope.
Well, you get a second roll, I do believe.
Oh yeah, I do. Hurt. Success.
He done did it.
Yes. Basic success. Alright. Well, Trusty Tony can somehow make what Jordan has described as a possibility.
It's what I described, not
Yes.
what you assholes described. Look, it works. I never agreed to your shit.
Can we shoot him now? He's actively sabotaging us now.
You point like to the hand crank and then like the bicycle as alternatives. Yeah, I guess you could use those.
Yeah, so you use the bike to go get more fuel for the engine.
Yeah. You gotta turn it over a little bit, you know, it's...
No, that -5 was incorporating your alternative hand crank / bicycle means.
Yeah, it can be powered by multiple things.
I guess.
If you want to be
As
dumb.
the engine goes on to never be used for it.
Oh, it'll be on.
For one, I'm pretty sure it would run at way too high revolutions to make this thing usable.
Don't worry, this thing's pulling double duty.
And for two, no.
I'm gonna drill some metal blades in this thing, and we're gonna set it out in front of the tower. Zombies won't know what hit them.
So it'll slice and dice zombies as it's grinding up grain.
Yeah, double duty.
I have
Yeah,
a
that
feeling
can't
those
go
two would
wrong.
mix.
It's a defense and a support mechanism. How do you not understand this?
How do you guys understand it? It also has a fucking engine.
I don't
Anyway.
think you understand how as soon as you go to sleep, I'm pouring sugar in that thing's gas tank.
You have sugar?
I'll
Oh,
grind it
wow.
up in the kern first and then pour it.
Technically,
Well,
we
now-
do have sugar. I mean, we got stuff from a gas station. It's like mostly sugar and grease.
Anyway, if when we all wake up the next day, because from the sounds of things he was going into the night, with that working?
Yes.
Yeah. So next day, 2 life points, all that.
Mm-hmm. Everyone will regain 2 life points.
And after Eugene does his standard horticulture lab checkup with somebody,
Grace will come on.
But
Potman will volunteer to ride the bike and, make some flour. If someone wants to handle the loading and unloading.
Same situation.
Cool. So that's what Potman's doing today.
All right. Jordan, go ahead and give me a reliability test. 1d10 plus mechanics plus 1. Okay. That's
This
good.
is why we didn't want the engine bullshit incorporated.
well, see, here's the thing. It's not blowing up when the engine's running. If that thing had been running, the thing would have worked perfectly fine.
The grinding stones catch on fire.
Okay. The bad news is that the bicycle gears, maybe Tony got a little liberal with the heat gun in response to the threat of pouring sugar in the engine, and decided to fucking, take down the gears of the bicycle. The thing stops working maybe an hour into the process of Eugene working. The good news is that Jordan can spend the afternoon fixing the device. It'll be at, instead of a -5, it'll be at a -2 because you've already made the thing. And you're just repairing it.
So it's no
Bike
jury
didn't
rigging.
even need to be touched, Tony.
It's another jury rigging roll with a -2 instead of a -5. Okay.
I think I want to use the higher one.
Alright. Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't matter. They're both still the same level of
They
successes.
both are still the same level of successes. Alright. That goes to breakdown per month of use instead of breakdown per day of use.
Cool.
Yep.
It's at a better place now. Alright.
So in that first hour, how much, I assume, coarse flour do they make? Or meal, probably.
Maybe I'll think about it after the session and let you know, like, between
Sure.
the sessions.
Let's just assume we're grinding this down so we can turn it into some kind of edible form.
Hard tech.
And rather than worrying about the exact specifics, just how many rations worth it ends up converting to.
Turns into a food.
Yeah.
Mixed with water and cook.
Arbitrary food type unit.
Yes. I'll make sure to do my chemical research based on how much weed I know you guys pulled in from the drums.
And then make up a number anyway.
I'm pretty sure what he's saying is he's going to do no research and just make something up anyway.
Sounds about right.
It's better to do all the research and then use the number that you thought of in the first place.
Well, why don't you be Zombie Master, Aaron?
Because I'm way too sarcastic.
Mm,
Just don't volunteer
I
me
thought it
for
was
it.
because you were garbage.
Ooh.
No, it's because he's literally worse than Hitler.
Yeah, I am the worst.
Good talk.
Good
I'm
talk.
assuming repairing this thing takes the rest of my day.
So, and
All right.
I think this is a good point here. I think this is a good point. Look, this session got started off as the worst session start that we've ever had. No matter how much people might want to see storyline resolution or whatever this such, you have the farm started to work. This wheat that you've found, particularly whenever you mill it down, is going to be sufficient enough, at least with the silo, which has still not been fully emptied, to give you at least a long enough term source of food. Your desiccation storyline has not been resolved in the fact that you still have that hunting you down. But considering basically how poorly the start of the session occurred, or how poorly that start was, along with this slow yet inexorable deterioration over the past several sessions, all flesh must be eaten is done.
There's
whether
nothing
everyone
left
wants
here.
to accept it or not.
Fair enough.
I can accept that.
I feel like we've made
Yay!
enough progress in this session that I can definitely see where these guys are going. And
Straight to hell.
yeah, for sure. And-
Tony's murdering you all in his sleep.
Right off of the sunset.
I know you might have wanted to die, Jordan, but just the dice said no. Just the last.
Why
last
couldn't you
fight.
kill Potman off to make the prophecy from Session 4 a reality?
because he just kept rolling too well.
Yes, he just kept rolling too well. But no, after how this session started, this was the best sort of response of feedback that I needed at the start of the session to go, this is the final fucking session. And nothing at all changed for me over the course of that to determine that. The fact that this would be the final session.
Glad I wasn't here then.
Time to roll some
Oh, no,
dice.
it went all right. It's just
Even really?
Really? From what I'm hearing, it sounded really bad.
Even
That
before
was-
the session started, it was just like, this is it.
I have never felt more lost playing a tabletop game as any referee than I have since I've been a teenager, as I have felt this night, and it
There
was
was
not because of
nothing-
my
Fair
poor
enough.
health condition.
There's just nothing left in this stone to squeeze out.
no, but like I said, I'm a right end here. Even me.
Everyone else is ecstatic it's over there.
I don't
Everyone
have
else-
enough enthusiasm for the system left to be ecstatic. It's just pure relief.
Yes.
I don't have to go into the next weekend knowing that this is what I come to.
Things are looking up for once.
Look,
Everything's coming.
So Star Wars next week, huh?
I have tried for like the past 4 weeks to increasingly tell everyone that we're playing Edge of the Empire.
I have tried for the past 4 weeks to increasingly get us killed.
Man, you haven't even...
Instead,
Well, what do you mean increasingly tried? From the beginning, you were like, so Jordan, why aren't we starting Age of the Empire this week?
yeah, he was a little bit more forceful with each question.
Hey, this week I had a legitimate excuse.
That's right, you did. And that's
Which
why,
I was very angry about.
which is funny because this week I had a half fun to say we're fucking
Well,
done.
I'll pose something then while we're already here. We still have another hour and a half of the normal allotted time. Like, I know you wanted some session 0 time. We're already all here, and we all plan to be here for the next hour and a half. Why not get a jump start on it?
Well, let me put my GM hat on.
Well, hey, okay, so since this game is over, let's see, is this the picture? Someone on 4chan drew a picture of Potman.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
of
wrong.
course.
The picture's wrong, and you should feel bad about it.
He's got a fire axe.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Okay.
Whoa.
We can do the Session 0 stuff if you want to, or people can go enjoy having a almost normal Monday night.
Normal.
I'm
I
pretty
will
sure
just-
the last 2.5 hours excludes normal from this day.
I wasn't here for an hour and a half of it, so,
True.
you know.
I will just drop that in the group chat.
All right. I will maybe send a link to viewers, like put it in the video description or whatever. I won't look at it right now.
It's fair.
Saving the final iteration of Jeremy Fletcher's token.
Never
Yeah,
saving
it's-
anymore. This trusty Tony's dead to me.
I know. It was great though. Like since we had the start of the session, then Jordan fucking comes in and immediately whispers, "I wanted to fucking kill my character."
Why didn't you do it? Why did I have to succeed?
And that helped to confirm it even more. Like, Jordan even wanted to fucking jump off a roof and die in suicide.
You kidding? He's been ready for a while. He was hoping we'd kill him when he went batshit crazy.
Of course.
Because then I'd have a normal Monday.
Normal Monday. You
Hey,
crazy man.
You all had the control to end this anytime you wanted as the player. It's
Yes,
all on
it's
you.
all my fault.
We didn't want to crush Aaron's spirit.
It's true,
Exactly.
because I'm some sort of giant man baby.
Yeah, you are.
Your words.
Yeah, your words, not mine.
I know.
know?
That's why I said it.
And, you know, having a bow on it, I can see would be nice, so I'm alright with it. But this fucking bow got put on.
Sure. No. After the progress we made today, I feel like I'm
You know what?
I fucking paid someone to gift wrap this. It has a bow now.
You see this All Flesh May Eaten folder? Deleting it. Never playing this game again.
So, you know, before we transition to Session 0, I think it's appropriate now. We come to the end of a campaign. This campaign lasted longer than the Vampire the Masquerade game. We're not going to spend another session on a monologue because fuck these notes. In the trash they go. How'd you all think about the system?
My
This
entire
was
monologue
terrible.
is just...
Oh my god.
I named the
It's really
horse
bad.
Blue. The
It
end.
was really bad.
Like, at least
Excessively clunky.
VTM had some things going for it.
Yeah, I mean the combat wasn't even fun.
Okay, I started drinking like 2 hours before the session, and it was not enough.
It was broken from character creation forward.
Yeah.
I don't even think can you call it broken if they intentionally don't care?
I wanted to put this perspective.
Yes.
I was pissed off about having to stay late for work, and then I remembered I have to come to this, and got more mad. There's a reason I took 10 to 15 minutes to make dinner. I'm like, I need that for me.
That was just your mental prep time.
Because there is nothing else for me tonight. Nothing.
Yes, nothing else for me.
Well, at least there was beer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Oh,
whenever
you
I
missed the
invited...
beer. Oh.
Whenever I invited you folks, as I do for like any sort of system, I only had limited amount of experience in a short-term setting with All Flesh Must Be Eaten because I tried it with friends over a decade, and I was like, this might be fun, to take it for a longer spin. I don't know how long this will last, and
You have a lot of regrets.
I don't have regrets. I have experiences.
It was definitely quaint. I would say if anybody out there ever actually wants to play this, keep it down to like 2, 3, 4 session
Keep it episodic.
episodes.
And
Play it like Left
remember
4
that-
Dead. Play it like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and remember
I
that the
hate
rules
stairs.
just aren't very ruly.
Don't try to play it like Dungeons and Dragons or any other game. Just probably not rules
Don't
for
even
it.
try and play it like
You just don't play it.
like
Put
long-term
it in the
survival.
cabinet with Fatal and never look at it again.
No, don't
It's
do that.
not that bad. It's
Well,
just
it's
really
pretty
got
bad.
nothing in particular going for it.
I feel like that makes it the same as Fatal.
I can't assign that much
Fatal
blame.
has
I can't
actual
assign
bad-
that much blame to All Flesh Must Be Eaten. I'd definitely saw diminishing interest on not just my part, but on the parts of most of the players as we progressed. And I was certainly confused and more lost than I have been in a sort of campaign setting. If I were a better game master, one who were more familiar with the rules and creating a modern environment, I'm sure I could have made something more of this. But my failings as such have left us with the story that we
Grimith.
had.
There was
Shut
no
up.
story. There
There's
was
no way your fault that they provide you with nothing to work from.
Yeah,
No.
really.
It's not even that popular of a system, so I can't fucking ask, like, Google, like, send help.
Anything you
Honestly-
did try looking up that had been asked somewhere was basically met with, who gives a fuck, do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the amount of material you were given to work with, you did fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot less
Like-
of it felt arbitrary than I expected.
Where the fuck is this thing?
A lot less arbitrary.
Fucking Ryan.
Less terrible than expected.
Slightly above par.
Oh, I deleted that.
Well, no, not even above par. Above what I expected.
It was super par.
Yes. Of course, this comes from Ryan, the asshole who has subjugated himself through so much hell in tabletop game.
So I have to ask, was
Exactly,
this still
so
better?
I have perspective.
Is what, Jordan?
Was this still better than your other group?
Yeah, because the players were better. Not to say the DM was worse, but... I mean, it's just...
I gave you a Horus, I looked out for you by killing some Manson. This is
Okay,
how you
like,
fucking
that's what I'm
treat me.
saying. Like, I'm not saying that you were bad. The system you were given was shit to begin with. But the big thing that distinguishes between this group and that one is that the player part of the game in this one was actually trying to work together, whereas in the other one it was the constant mentality of who's going to stab me in the back.
You four were theoretically attempting to work together.
We for the most part did. Like, even when we disagreed on things, we didn't actively try to fuck each other over,
Until right here.
Well,
which is what my other group did. So yes, this was still
So,
much better.
You know, it certainly played into the premise that you four chose to make seedy asshole characters to start us off.
I have no regrets.
Yeah, no, that was a good choice.
It was amusing.
Nor should you. You four have created memorable characters and role-played them so that, you know, there's fan favorites and they will stand the test of time.
Jeremy might be a rapist, Fletcher.
Hey, Ryan,
What?
do you still have access to that other campaign thing? I sort of lost mine.
Yeah, I still have it.
The one that actually has starships.
So yes, might be a rapist. I guess theoretically,
New
since
nickname.
Might be a rapist.
Jeremy might be a rapist, Fletcher.
Is a rapist.
Probably a rapist.
They all said yes before anything happened.
I guess since we have now sort of impromptu transition into an epilogue, because I'm not doing another fucking session just for the epilogue.
I'm not attending an epilogue session.
So you fucking haven't. What questions or comments might you have about the campaign, or criticisms for me or for the other players, so that we can
I
get
have
it all on the
one
table?
big criticism. Why the hell did you listen to Aaron? That's
Like,
it.
literally ever about anything?
Yes.
Well,
Good point.
Aaron was a watcher of my videos, and I treat my viewers with all of the kindness and favorability that I can muster. You know?
And how many of the 8 videos have you watched, Aaron? If it's above 2, you beat me.
I will sadly admit I had to watch like 8 of the videos for All Flesh
You.
just to
I don't watch-
catch up on the one that I missed.
I don't watch the All Flash videos.
I just look at the comments and like, yeah, that's Trusty Tony. Cool. I'm out.
No, I don't like listening to my voice.
Neither do I.
It weirds me out.
My voice sounds really hot, really deep in my head. But
Really
when I listen
hot.
See, for me, it's the other way around. My voice sounds really high-pitched to me.
Compared to
Oh.
what mine actually is, mine sounds higher pitched.
Like, in my head, it sounds really high-pitched.
Can we swap
And
voices?
then I listen to it in recorded form, and it's like,
You
Wait,
four
who
are
put-
so fucking interested in asking questions or delivering criticism about myself or the other players of this campaign
Well,
that you have literally transitioned into talking about each other's fucking voices. and
That
how
is our
much you
level
don't
of
listen to.
enthusiasm.
That's how much you fucking care.
Somebody even said it a couple weeks ago, like, what does this prove? And I said, no, it's a precursor to the players no longer caring about the game.
Yeah.
I read that and I'm like,
No.
yeah, it fucking is.
like I said, it basically begins and ends with, you did basically everything you could with the material you had.
Yeah.
Did we?
That's where my criticism and compliments begins and ends.
I think with After reading through what you were given, I think you held it together much longer than most would have. As far as like questions and stuff goes, I think that all got answered pretty clearly with the whole statement that like none of the scientists were ever expected to get out of the lab, so there was nothing planned for them.
Nope.
And that kind of implies, along with the rest of it, that it was just kind of, ad-libbed as we went.
Mm-hmm. I had ideas.
Things developed based on what we thought was going to happen.
Knight and Savage were the two head doctors of that military installation. They had offices that were down there on the off chance that you folks managed to get away or get up there before the zombies ended up breaking out of their containment. So there could have possibly been some sort of exploration potential, because I did do some mapping for that.
And then the lights went out.
But yeah, those are certainly possibilities. It was not guaranteed for Dr. Franklin Knight to survive it, as it were, but he was the most evil motherfucker of the lot, I guess you could say.
He was a Nazi.
He spoke Nazi.
Well, both he and Dr. Savage could speak Nazi.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you look at Dr. Savage?
We never even expected Randolph Savage.
Yeah, I know, he fucking, like, swept off his coat, like, moved the glass away, and then...
And I took it.
yeah,
Everyone swooned.
everyone swooned. Potman especially.
Why does this not work?
The whole sort of zombie genesis point came up using the first Dead World suggestion of the book, which is a prototypical zombie thing. Escape from Argos, it's called. I changed it from being a little town in New York State to a little town in Pennsylvania, with the genesis for it being roughly the same. Radioactivity, a radioactive dump, sort of impacted with burial grounds of Native Americans, and all of that just festered in together to create rising zombies.
So where was Ground Zero?
Ground Zero was right next to the Summer Meadow. It was in a cavern system just several miles away from Summer Meadow.
If we had gotten down into there, could we have stemmed this whole thing?
Possibly, yes. The Dead World offers that as a suggestion. Like, one possible way is for, like, say, the player characters to not be starting in Summer Meadow, or the town, as it were, but to be like soldiers who are sent to investigate what's happening. And they would have a greater incentive, particularly as survivor PCs, to try to do something about going down into there. But yeah, radioactive waste, it was a massive dump that the government had been using, in this particular case combining with their special radioactivity for their special experiments.
So that gold stuff was basically simultaneously magic and radioactive materials.
Yes.
Cool.
We continued for 18 minutes, discussing a few more elements about the game, before the players deleted everything All Flesh Must Be Eaten off their hard drives, and transitioned into Edge of the Empire. This system, like Vampire the Masquerade, was out of my medieval fantasy comfort zone. I like to push my tabletop boundaries by trying some systems, every now and then. Unfortunately, I was hampered by three things: my poor knowledge of All Flesh Must Be Eaten, my lack of interest in the genre, and my inability to compensate for either. I don't regret this campaign. It was a worthwhile experience, but one I'm not eager to repeat. If you learned one thing from this video, let it be this: when you're done, you're done. Like now. I thought I would have more to say about this campaign in an epilogue. Nope, I only just realized a few minutes ago that I am still done with AFMBE. I don't care to share insight, I don't care to reveal plot details. They'll all be mysteries as I ride off into the sunset, and you'll have to speculate in the comments, or in your own minds. Of course, I know some of you enjoyed yourselves. I'm glad for it, and I did enjoy myself as well. There's jokes and memories I'll carry for a long time, and as I said, I don't regret the campaign. It was a worthwhile experience, but... Let's get on with Talk to you folks later.